NASDAQ, a brand new high, over 6,000. Gotta be some confidence somewhere. And I know there is, at least in 2 cities in the, maybe 3 in the United States, and that's in Las Vegas, where my king is, with about 100,000 plus broadcasters. Of course, we didn't make the trip because we're starting to sell the Miami Dolphins football. And, of course, Charles Moscowitz in Boston, and Comrade Connolly, who is our Russian oil expert. How are you, Comrade Connolly? Oh.
Well, other than I've been called a lot of things, but that one might be the biggest insult of all.
Yeah. Holy smokes. All of a sudden, they were saying that everything depends on Russian oil, and it's like, who cares? It's
Yeah.
So how you guys doing in lovely Houston?
Well, we're doing fine, and I will remind everybody, when we talked 2 weeks ago and we were at $53 and you asked me which way I'd go, I said short, and I still firmly believe that until we see something come out of OPEC, because what I can tell you, and I have now verified these numbers with my guys out in the field, we are more than likely going to be at 9.5 million barrels a day by August 1st.
Yep.
So we will have totally recovered and exceeded our daily production from the boom when the crash occurred in 2014. We will be back at those levels by August.
Yep, and as Tim Connolly mentioned, right here, we are at 49.04 right now for oil, and Brent crude is at 51.52. So exactamundo, as you predicted, my friend. That's amazing.
Yeah, unfortunately, in a way, it's good for our business because people get so optimistic once it hits 50, and I keep hearing all these people, yeah, we're doing our numbers at $70. I went, oh, good. Let me know how that turns out.
Yeah, right.
But,
yeah, $80 oil. Oh, yeah, I'll take that.
I'll take $50 oil. We make money at $50 oil. If you're efficient,
there you go.
And don't get too crazy, and don't do those things that people get big fixed costs and big fat salaries and all that. In our company, we eat what we kill. Everybody's incented. If we make money, everybody makes money. If we're busy, we work. If we're not busy, we take a day or two off. But these companies with these big overheads and huge. I had someone bring us a deal last month, and they've got 20,000 acres of 3D all over Texas and Louisiana, and all they need is $5 million to study it for the next 3 years.
Well, that sounds good. Hey, if you've got the $5 million, I'll take it. I mean,
Yeah.
but are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. It's 2 geologists and a couple of exploration guys, and they just need $5.5 million to do it for 3 years of analysis and identifying where you will drill. You hadn't drilled a single oil well then, but you know where you're going to drill.
Which truck did they think you fell off of?
Oh, Lord. That's why there's just still a lot of naivete out there. The big companies are getting money. The mid-tier to the big companies are getting money. The small independents are not. And the days of the big institutions coming in and funding a bunch of overhead and a bunch of high salaries are just over. Every one of them we talk to about project financing says, you need to make the project cash flow, and then you guys get your salaries out of that.
Yeah, wow.
And
well, it's very interesting you say that, because I do have a couple media stories here. Netflix is, remember they made a big splash, was it last year, that they're going to start producing full-length movies and stuff like that. They lost a few mil. Well, they lost several mil on this movie that they made last year. See ya, aloha. That's the last time they'll do something that stupid again. And the other big news, seriously, involves a company out your way, Tim, and that's iHeartRadio, Clear Channel, which is in real deep trouble. I mean, they've been trying. They're $20 billion in debt. and trying to scramble out of that, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it. And another one out your way, Whole Foods, could be taken over by the Mormons. It looks like Albertsons is going to take over Whole Foods. So,
something needs to happen because Whole Foods needs a sanity check. The few times that I've gone into Whole Foods, they're incredibly expensive, have small selection, and it's all this whole thing about eating healthy and organic and yada, yada, yada. And I went in there, and I knew they were in trouble in Texas. Even they're founded in Austin, right?
Right.
But you go in there, and I went in I wanted biscuits, and I wanted this particular brand of canned biscuits that I love. And when I went and asked for it, the manager gave me a withering look and said, "We don't sell canned biscuit products." Well, pardon me for being a customer.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, my wife was joking that, the joke out there is that Whole Foods stands for whole paycheck.
No doubt.
Oh,
no
man.
doubt.
Oh.
So there's, every business sector has its excesses and every business sector has its successes, which we all enjoy seeing. But, man, I think Whole Foods is more on the suck side rather than success side.
Yeah. Well, they're in trouble now. I mean, they really expanded quickly, as did Clear Channel. The big difference between Clear Channel and CBS is that, of course, there's no more CBS anymore. They merged with Entercom. But CBS is in the major markets. Clear Channel
That's exactly it.
Only has a few stations there.
You're dead on. The Clear Channels are all smaller markets, and those smaller markets have gotten less and less valuable over time.
Well, now you're getting personal here. Oh, because I'm in one of those smaller markets. No, I know I know exactly what you're saying.
Of course, Mike and I, we were on the air in small markets everywhere. We were on Time Warner's cable system, one of the very earliest talk shows that got carried on cable. And we were ostensibly, we were told as part of our agreement with them that we were on 1,100 markets throughout the United States. Well, every once in a while, I'd have to toss out a question during the show. We were Sunday nights, Mike, remember? Yep. And I'd just toss out a question. If anybody's there, please call us.
Yeah, and you had 3 listeners, right, on 1,100 systems. Oh, my God. When was that? Because Mike's been here for, 10 years or so. When was
Mike
that?
Mike and I were on the air together for 18 years.
Wow.
We started together, Mike, I think it was like somewhere in the mid-'90s, wasn't it? And then
that's a long time, 20 years ago.
I dropped it at the end of 2013 because I was getting so engaged in the oil business and I couldn't spare the time anymore. But I really enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun, and over time we did get some good stations. We got picked up. We were on CBS Radio. We were on a variety of other outlets that we got some really good exposure. It was a lot of fun. That's why I enjoy being on the air with you guys.
Well, it was very interesting because I'm gotten a lot of feedback on this show, and people just, love to hear you guys because they don't hear this stuff anywhere. It's really amazing. Charles and Mike bring the various sectors, whether it's medical or research, and of course you're on the oil side. And it's all stuff that CNBC doesn't have, and neither does Market Watch, really.
Well, it's certainly something that I enjoy, both listening and learning on this show from you guys, and on being able to share things that are the real stories from out in the market, not what you hear from the talking heads on Squawk Box or, the whatever agenda they're particularly trying to sell that day or not. It's a lot of fun going out and getting facts and disseminating them in my book.
No.
And it's just like, the latest thing now. Remember we were talking about how overpriced the Saudi IPO appeared? Yeah. And the King has been trying to sell it at a $2 trillion valuation. It just came out overnight. None of his advisors can sign off over $1.5 trillion, and no investment banks want to even buy the $1.5 trillion.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oops.
the initial round of valuation that the investment banks did was under $1 trillion, and the King wanted a $2 trillion valuation.
Okay, so what's going to be the outgrowth of that then in his world?
Well, the Saudis just lowered the taxes on all production agreements from 85% to 50%. And essentially they did it for themselves because they control everything in Saudi Arabia. And so by eliminating that 35% of taxes, that's what got the valuation up from below $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. But, you know, if the government can take it away and give it back, who knows what that means for shareholders in the long term. But I'm sure there will be retail investors standing in line to buy it whenever it does go out. But it's going to be a high-priced stock.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. That is truly amazing. Well, okay, you told us a couple of weeks ago where you thought, you know, things would be, and that's a little short. What about looking ahead a few more weeks?
Well, I'll give you a couple of interesting data points. One, we are seeing a great deal of stability in natural gas. With oil having had this volatile, 54, 55, 47, 48, you're talking about nearly a 20% factor over a period of a month. Natural gas has a 5-year chart that stays between 3.25 and 265 and has not moved at all over this whole period of time. And it's beginning to cause me to start looking more carefully at the natural gas producers. And I don't have anything yet. I've just started analyzing these charts. Mike and I talked yesterday, and I promised him some more data together today, and I didn't get it all done. But I think I'm going to be looking for producers long-term who benefit from a stable price environment in natural gas. And that'll be not just producers, but users, the people like the people that are the manufacturers of plastics, and Exxon with their new plant there in South Texas, and Dow's new expansion in Freeport. If we see that kind of stability, those businesses are going to do well over the next 5 years.
Well, and you think about Florida Power and Light, all of their new plants are natural gas plants that are coming online. Of course, ironically, they've got this huge solar side of FPL, which Indian River State College is involved in educating the workforce. It's going to be a minimum of 1,800 folks coming online in the next 3 months, and they'll continue doing that for about the next 5 years. So, yeah, and that's the solar side.
And yet, without the subsidies, while solar is dropping, it still is a problem. It's a problem. So it'll be interesting to see what that long-term look is, because many states are now dropping their subsidies, and I don't think the federal government, in this budget environment, we're not going to be seeing a whole lot more alternative energy subsidies.
Ooh.
I'd bet hard money on that.
Ooh, you're breaking news again there, Mr. Connolly.
Well, these are guys we talk to at least weekly, if not daily, and they're telling us that the alternative energy stuff is on nobody's priority list with an R after their name in the Congress.
Does that stand for ripoff?
If they got an R at the end, they ain't voting for alternative energy subsidies.
The R for ripoff. Oh, no. Oh, you mean the other R. Oh, man. Unreal.
Of course, here's our biggest problem. Here we control the House, the Senate, and the White House, and we still can't get along enough to approve a budget this week.
See, that's,
that is dysfunctional.
And I'll tell you, I was really bummed this past week because the guy that was leading the Cal exit movement to leave the United States left the United States. He moved to Russia. So anyway, I'm not sure. I was thinking it's either going to be California or Texas that'll leave the U.S. first. But just think about that. You can get a lot of foreign aid if you were a separate country,
No, they'd be wanting it from us.
Yeah, yes.
People would be asking Texas for foreign aid for Ohio and New York.
Well, the one thing you are taking big time is a lot of Northern California tech companies. I mean, Austin, Texas is going absolutely bonkers.
No, we're getting a lot of transfers here from California for two simple reasons. One, incredibly lower cost of living. Salaries are about, on average, 55 to 60% here of what the average is in California. And then B, real estate. Those guys come there with their $2 or $3 million they made out of their 2-bedroom, 2-bath San Francisco, bungalow, and can't believe they could buy 5,000 or 6,000 feet in Austin, Texas, overlooking the finest lake view in the state. I mean, it's a different economic environment.
Yeah, it is.
How about tax considerations?
Well, Mike, yeah, we don't have an income tax, but Texas does have a very high real estate tax structure. And right now that's okay because you can deduct it. But I'm also hearing some very significant rumbling that we already have an alternative minimum tax structure that maxes you out on what you can take on writing off your real estate taxes. And, there's some talk about in the new bill to maybe do a 20-year phase-out of the deductibility of real estate taxes. And if that happens, that would damage states like Texas. We would more than likely have to we'll never do an income tax, but we might do a statewide sales tax.
Wow.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, it could happen, which frankly I wouldn't be too upset about because I pay such huge real estate taxes. So it wouldn't bother me if I saw my real estate taxes go down and had a sales tax, because that way you catch all the drug dealers and all the people that work for cash and don't pay taxes. At least you get them on the consumption side.
Wow. Yeah, that's
better.
Yeah,
Yep,
and Mike, Nevada doesn't have any state taxes either, do they? Or
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Florida is actually talking about instituting one because I don't know.
You have a very high sales tax, though, by 8.5%.
Ooh, ouch.
You're looking at almost 10% when you buy something.
Wow, I didn't know that. Holy smokes.
Well, and when you check out of the Bellagio, it's like 22%.
Well, somebody's got to pay for the Raiders.
Got to get the money one way or the other.
All those hotel and convention taxes, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's I think it's 22 or 22.5%.
Yeah.
When you go to checkout, it's like, okay.
A quarter of your bill just goes to taxes. I love it.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah, but that's very interesting. You're talking about that with Texas because obviously you just seem to be so business friendly. I know our governor here in Florida talks a lot about the main competition that he sees for Florida is you guys.
Yeah, sure. And we have lots of programs to incent companies to come here, and if they bring certain numbers of jobs. And the thing about Texas incentives, though, is we have give-backs. If you come to Texas and say you're going to create 500 jobs over the next 5 years and you don't do it, you got to give back your incentives.
Ooh,
whereas some of these other states just give them the money and trust them.
Well, yeah, and then the companies go out of business before you can. Yeah, we got nailed on that here in Port St. Lucie. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Give backs. I like that. That kind of evens the playing field.
That's it.
Wow.
Well, Mike, I haven't heard you talk much about any stocks today. I know we've talked a lot about energy, but right now, as I said, I'm more or less neutral until I can figure out this natural gas phenomenon I'm seeing. But what do you see out there that's worth investing at 20,000 Dow?
Well, I see really a tremendous bull market, which should accelerate until Friday and make new all-time highs, of course, across the board. We already made it in NASDAQ. But there's so many companies that could launch bullish moves. Stocks like quality stocks like 3M's, like CHD, which is Church and Dwight, companies that people don't know much about, that have great fundamentals and have been forgotten.
Mike, what was that last company? I've never heard
Church
of
and
it.
Dwight.
Okay, who are they?
CHD,
What do they do?
the consumer durables. They have a lot of products on the supermarket shelves.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they're a dividend payer, too, aren't they, Mike?
Sure.
What are they, about a 3.5%, 4% dividend?
Yes. It's excellent.
Yep. Yeah, I've owned it in our pension plan for quite a while. Yeah, that's the things that's hard to find now, and yet the bond market doesn't believe that we're heading into a booming economy. And there's this very fundamental difference. Here we are at the 10-year at 2.3%, and so the bond market's not buying that we're going to have 3 or 4% growth this year. And that's what is the dichotomy that's toughest for me in buying anything today. I always gravitate towards dividend stocks, but I have to be worried about what happens to them when we see interest rates rise. And I'm beginning to wonder, are we going to really see rates rise much more this year? I thought we would see 3 or even 4 raises this year, but the bond market doesn't believe it.
Well,
I think the Fed is right to leave things alone.
Yeah, you're right.
They will blunt the rally. Every time they speak, the rally stops moving.
Yeah. Well, and plus you're looking at GDP looks like on an adjusted basis, 9/10 for the last quarter, and that's dramatically less than anybody expected we'd be seeing. So, while we are seeing a lot of regulations getting withdrawn from Trump, which has been great, I think 32 is the number I saw as of yesterday. More regulations rescinded and executive orders issued in his first 100 days since FDR. So he has gotten some stuff done. But I just don't think that's going to translate into an economy at 3 to 4%, or if it does, that takes a while. That takes a while.
3 to 4% is a lot.
It's huge.
Get to 2.5 first.
We haven't hit 3 to 4% in years. Was it in the Bush years we last hit 3 to 4%?
So if we got to 3 or 4, we wouldn't have enough employees to go around. There's a shortage already of skilled labor.
Yep, you're right. We're absolutely seeing it already.
Eric Bauer.
Welcome, Eric Bauer, COO of RMS Medical Products. He's done a great job with this company. Here's a company that should go to $1 from 44 cents.
Wow.
And I want you to listen to Eric Bauer.
All right.
All right, and I'm going to let you gentlemen have the rest of your show. And as always, thank you for having me on. And
You're
Eric,
welcome.
you're in good hands.
All right, Timmy.
Right, thank you.
Timmy, we'll see you later. All right. And Tim
Thanks,
Connolly,
guys.
our oil expert, and man, he's constantly breaking news here on the Money Info Show. And has he been right on the money? There's no doubt about it. Well, Eric, back again. And boy, I'll tell you, phenomenal first appearance on this show. Of course, RMS Medical has been here for about 10 years on talking about RMS Medical on this show. So take it away. What's new?
Well, thank you again for having me back. I'm excited to be here. And I think it was Mike who commented about the stock should go from where it is today, from I think about 45 cents to $1. I think you're selling us way too short. I'm looking at $5 growing to $10 a share. Wow. I'm very excited about this company. I think that this company is way underrated in terms of its stock value today.
Well, Tim Cook is saying maybe you could go to $300 or $400.
Yes, I agree.
You wouldn't mind that.
No, I'm very optimistic about the future of this business. I'm excited to be here. As I mentioned to you the last time I joined you, I joined the company back in January. And since I've been here, I've seen nothing but great things. We are working on an incredible number of things to move the company forward. And we actually just had a press release this week, and you asked about exciting news. Well, we had the FDA just renewed our CFG. CFG is a certificate to foreign governments, and in case people don't know what that is, it's a document that the CFG gives you, or that the FDA gives you, that you can provide to foreign governments in Asia, Latin America, all over the world. And this document basically certifies you by the FDA. It says that your products are cleared to be sold in the U.S., that your company meets FDA regulations such as good manufacturing practices and quality system regulations. It's kind of a blessing by the FDA to sell your products in other countries. Many other countries don't have an FDA, so they they look to the U.S. FDA to evaluate companies to ensure that companies are following good manufacturing practices and kind of bless their products to be sold in their countries. And this is important to us because I think there's a misperception out there that RMS Medical Products is just a U.S.-based company. And it's not at all true. We're very much a global business. We source products, raw materials from around the world, and we have sales teams selling around the world as well. So our products, which are made here in Chester, New York, end up in Germany, they'll end up in Russia and Asia and just about everywhere in the world. So we are very much a global business, and having a CFG from the FDA is critical to our business in terms of continuing our expansion. Now, we've had a CFG for going on 20 years, but they just literally renewed us last week, and this new CFG that we have will allow us to expand our business throughout Asia and to many other countries in Europe and Latin America and the Middle East. So we're very excited that the FDA continues to support us and provide us with this sort of a document so we can expand our business even further.
Yeah, when you mentioned that there aren't all that many FDAs around the world, I mean, you don't hear of many like that. I think, Britain and Aussies, they've got them, right? But that's really about it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's it. In order to be really good at this, you have to be able to audit companies. You have to be kind of really stay on top of things, and a lot of these countries are too small or don't have the sophistication to do the auditing and the follow-up and to build all of these quality systems. And so they look to our FDA to do that for them, to make sure that the products have the proper clearances in the U.S. and that the companies are following all the proper regulations. And they know that if the FDA blesses you and gives you one of these certificate of foreign governments, that basically says that if you can sell your products in the U.S. and you're following all the U.S. regulations, they don't need to go any further than to agree with the FDA. So it really is a requirement for companies in the medical device industry to open up doors in all these foreign countries. So this was, as I said, we put this out in a press release yesterday, and just to let everybody know that we've been renewed by the FDA, and we continue to expand our business on a global basis.
So how are you in trying to find a new headquarters? You had mentioned that you had started looking.
Yeah, we're looking for a new building because we've outgrown the building we're in, and it's tough. It's very difficult to find a new building that either we're looking at buildings that exist, and we're also looking at locations where we can actually build a custom building. And it's very hard to find a building that exists today that's ideally suited for the nature of our business, where we have clean rooms and a very clean environment, and we need to have warehouse space and pick-pack operation. And so we have a very defined need for our business And it's very tough to find an existing building that is the right size and has the right features, is located in the right location, that has access to major highways. So we are looking at all options. We just haven't been able to find the right building. And now we're also, as I said, looking at empty lots where we'll be close to some of our key suppliers and be able to potentially build a custom building that will be exactly what we need for the environment in which we manufacture and ship product.
Eric, would you do you also need like rail spurs and or be near an airport or no?
No, we don't have any need for rails. Most of our products coming in and going out are all brought in by UPS or FedEx.
Oh, okay.
But being located near one of their locations is helpful, and also being located near one of our critical suppliers is helpful as well. And being located on a major highway so people can get to us and we can ship things out is very helpful to our business. So we can't really be in a rural location, kind of in the middle of nowhere. It just doesn't work for us.
Well, I was going to ask you, where do you normally, especially if you're shipping to Europe, where do you ship out of? JFK?
Well, we utilize both FedEx and UPS, primarily UPS, and they take our products. So it doesn't really matter where they're taking the product out of. You know, they route things through whatever way they feel
That's
is
true.
the most appropriate way.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
So they're one of our major suppliers, and they do a great job for us.
Yeah, we've been a FedEx client. Wow, well, we're starting our 25th year here in Port St. Lucie next Monday, and we've been with FedEx ever since. They're phenomenal. They really are. I don't know how they route stuff. But
Wait till you can do it on an Amazon plane.
Yeah,
Yeah, Amazon.
Or a drone.
Amazon seems to be taking over the world, I think.
Well, and what is the rumor too that was it Amazon taking over BJ's warehouse? That was a story last week that we heard that they were giving up the ghost, fighting Sam's Club, and they're just going to sell out to Amazon, which would be very interesting if you're thinking about because they are national. Obviously not as big as Walmart, but that could be very interesting in that vein as well. So kind of intriguing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I went to a store the other day to buy an item that it was an exercise bike I wanted to get, and when I was in there, they didn't have virtually any stock in the building, and I said, you know, I remember the days when you could walk into a store and they had plenty of stock. They used to carry everything. And she said, well, you know, everybody's buying online now, and the retail locations, the brick-and-mortar locations, just can't afford to carry all the stock for people anymore. So they had to order it for me, and I had to wait for it to be delivered. But the times are a-changing, as they say.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, we even tried to get like a Wi-Fi Netgear device for the station yesterday at Staples.
Router?
At Staples, yeah. And they say, oh, you can order it online. Yeah, and you'll have it tomorrow. You know, and it's like, okay, why do you have stores then? You know, I was really amazed. I was really taken back with that, you know.
Well, you know, another thing about that, because I just had to reinstall all new Comcast stuff in my new place. And I said to the guy, well, what do we do about a router? Can I use this other one that I brought with me? And he said, no, you don't need it. What they're doing is they're incorporating the routers in the modems.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's what
you get the
I
new
have a new one at
X1
home, and that's
system.
exactly how it is.
Yeah. Well, we're
You get a
going
new
all
X- you get
Comcast.
the X1 system, and it gets,
Yep.
you know, and it gets everything.
Yeah, we're going all
Right.
Comcast because AT&T, which we've had since the hurricanes, and 2005 with Wilma, they've been squeezing the bandwidth, and they've squeezed it to a point where they can't even send audio through it, which is it's not very much bandwidth. So yeah, we're actually today is where we start switching over the full Comcast for all three of our radio stations. So yeah, very.
And I love Comcast, but the only problem is, as it is with all of these companies, they ask you for all your business, you give it to them, and then when there's a problem, nothing works. You don't have, like I have the modem, the TVs, the internet, etc. If I have a problem here, if I don't have my cell phone, I can't even call them.
Yes, I know. Yeah, there was a massive outage, and there's something weird going on. I don't know whether you guys have seen it, whether it's up in Massachusetts or out in Las Vegas or whatever. But if you look at the down maps for AT&T, there was a massive AT&T outage last week, as was with Sprint, as was T-Mobile, and it was almost national. And, you just have to wonder, is somebody hacking into these systems? Because it was amazing. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. And that's why we decided to go to Comcast. But the good thing about Comcast Business that we don't have at home is that they guarantee that they'll have somebody there within 4 hours, which is phenomenal. I mean, the business side is different.
As I said, the world is changing, and all these technologies out there, companies need to be aware of them. And at RMS, one of the things that we're doing is building a customer portal. Today, customers place orders with us either via fax or via email, and somebody here enters those orders. And we're developing a portal, and my take on it is something similar to what Amazon does, where a customer will be able to come into our portal and actually place their orders right online and get an immediate confirmation that their order has been placed. And then all through the process of delivering that product, they're getting constant communications about where their order is, has it been picked, has it been shipped. So we want to step up our communications with our customers and use the technology that's available today to let them know where their order sits in the pipeline. So if it's already been shipped,
you might as well because you're paying for it. You might as well because you're paying for it anyway.
So, it's really important for companies like RMS to be really up on the latest technologies, on what's happening with all the connections, how customers want to connect with you. Customers want to know constantly where their orders sit. Imagine if you go online to Amazon and you order something, you want to get a constant confirmation. You want to know where it's, you want to be confirmed that you made your order, that when it's been shipped, when it's been delivered. And, everyone has that expectation now in business because they're used to getting it through Amazon. So, we're going to step up our efforts here.
Yeah.
From a business point of view, we need to do that. We need to use the technologies that are available today to give better support to our customers. We're also doing we're stepping up an entire new marketing program for RMS, which is going to be all about social interconnectivity. We went out there and found that many of the patients that were using our products are on Instagram, they're on Twitter,
they're
on Facebook. They're out there on all this social media. So we are launching at NHIA is a big trade show coming up here in Orlando in May, and we're launching a whole new marketing campaign, which is going to be all about our social interconnectivity, and we're creating a company avatar who's going to be named Emma, and you can follow Emma. You can follow her on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and she's going to be communicating information to all of our patients, nurses, doctors, everybody out there who's on social media will be able to get information from RMS Medical Products through our our company avatar, who will be named Emma, and she'll be constantly connecting on social media. So it's a whole new world out there in terms of marketing and connecting with your patients and your customers, and making sure that you're responding to them as quickly as possible. And we're making all those investments here to make sure that we be able to service our customers the best, that we provide the most accurate, timely information to people, and it's an exciting time here at RMS Medical Products.
So Eric,
really excited about what we're doing.
Is Emma going to also be an app so we can order from our cell phones? I mean, it seems like everybody seems to be going that route.
Yeah, actually, we have some new things that we will be launching at NHIA, so you can kind of stay tuned. But yes, there will be a customer portal in the future where you'll be able to customers will be able to place their orders either through their computer or through their phones. Patients can't actually order our products directly because they're prescription products. So they're products that they have to get through a pharmacy. But the pharmacies certainly can order them directly from us. And it's our intent to be able to immediately have a pick-pack operation that can deliver products basically like Amazon does in 24 hours. So you can place your order, and within 48 hours you can get it, or you can pay an upcharge and get it within 24 hours, that sort of thing. But we're looking at all this interconnectivity, all the technology that's out there and available, and Amazon really is the model for how businesses need to operate today in terms of communicating with their customers and delivering products. So we're looking to that model to help us, improve our delivery times and satisfaction levels with our customers going forward.
That's interesting. Wow. Yeah. So this is great. RMS Medical on the cutting edge, huh? This is very, very cool.
We're out there on the cutting edge. And as I say, the marketing has completely changed. Back when I don't want to give away my age, but back when I started, marketing was all about the ads that you placed or the in the newspaper and any coupons that you put out there and or direct mailings of actual letters on paper, and marketing today is so different, so completely different. And you need to be connected from a social media standpoint. You need to have a persona for your company, and it's a whole different world than it was 30 years ago. So it's
30. It's a whole different world than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's true too. That is true. It's constantly changing.
I read this book by Thomas Friedman, and I've mentioned it before, and it's called Thank You for Being Late, and it's really interesting. And he looks back at the dynamic change in all of these things that you're discussing right now, and he says, well, it was actually 2008 when all of this happened, when Facebook became public, when the smartphones really started to the first iPhone really started to proliferate. Say that one hard, fast. And all of these things were the technology, and that now, just now, in the last 2 years, we're finally being accepting of it and utilizing it on a grand scale. Whereas before, think about it, Andy. Did you really think that you'd ever be using Snapchat or Instagram along with all of the teenagers who take pictures of what they're having for lunch?
The world has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, we went on Instagram, for example, a few weeks ago and realized that some 6,000 of our patients in the U.S. are Instagramming each other and sharing information about how they utilize our systems to do their infusions, they're medical infusions. And so we're talking about a large population of our patients out there today using our products who are sharing information with each other, and yet they were not connected to us. They were not getting information from the company that provides them the products. So Emma is going to be our avatar who is going to communicate with all these people and answer questions for them and give them information and build a loyalty around our products. And hopefully, all of these patients will be recommending our products to other patients and to other people. And, that's how the whole marketing effort works today. It's all socially connected with people recommending your products to other people. So companies need to be, heavily into this new social interconnectivity that's happening out there if you really want to market your products.
So if Emma gets a black belt, she could work for United Airlines too? No, I'm sorry. That's terrible.
We don't talk about American or United.
No. Oh, man. Well, this sounds great. So this show in Orlando is when?
It's the end of May. It's May 21st through the 23rd, I think it is, or 24th.
Okay.
It's NHIA, which is the National Home Infusion Association. It's one of the biggest trade shows in home infusion technologies in the U.S. And it's the one where all of our customers go to learn about new products and new launches and new things. And we're launching a new campaign, our whole new marketing campaign. And one of our things that we're going to be doing there is what we call the infusion industry dirty little secrets. So we're going to be talking about the things that trying to clear up all of the misinformation that's in the industry. We're going to focus on clarifying things and helping patients and nurses and doctors who are misinformed to hear the real facts. RMS is a very scientific, fact-based business, and so we are going to, what we've discovered is that there's a lot of misinformation out there, fake news and misinformation, and we're starting a marketing campaign to clear up all of that misinformation to help our patients and our nurses, our customers, to better understand the facts, the scientific facts, and the truth about certain things in the industry. So we're launching that new program, new marketing campaign at the NHIA trade show.
I love this.
We're pretty excited about that.
You should be. You should be. I mean, this is really awesome news. And again, with looking at that whole social aspect of what that could become for RMS Medical, I think your customers help sell your company. I mean,
absolutely. We have a real loyal following. Once people are on our products, they tend not to leave us, and they tend to have very positive things to say about our products. So we're going to link in with them and help get them to help sell our products.
Boy, I think that's amazing. Charles, any questions for Eric?
Not a one.
And Michael, what about you?
No, I think Eric's doing a fantastic job. If you notice, every Sunday night he has a press release, a new press release. Eric has come up with a lot of new information, which is on the Princeton Research website. If you go down to the weekly market letter, if you go to the weekly market letter and go to the account page, pages 17 and 19, you'll see RMS has new information every week.
We have so much going on. It's so exciting. I just feel a need to share all the great things that are happening here, and let people know that we are the global leader in this industry, and we continue to be the leaders in terms of the quality of our products, and we want to get that message out to people.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited to be here that I feel a need to share all the great things that we're doing through our press releases.
Boy, that's great news, Eric. Mike, the stock symbol for RMS Medical.
REPR. Robert Echo Peter Robert.
Okay.
REPR.
REPR
RMS
Trading.
Medical Products.
Yep.
44 cents.
Wow.
It's a great company and has nothing but a great future ahead.
Well, I'll tell you, you've got some really, really good ideas. You don't hear
And
many
all
major.
the information is available on the OTCmarkets.com website. So you can see all the financials, all the information going back 5 years. Lots of
And all
information.
the press releases.
Yeah.
And all
Yeah.
the press releases, too.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, that's an
OTCmarkets.com.
excellent site for due diligence.
well,
Yes, it is. But there's a lot of good things coming in the future, and what you can read online is sort of the history of the company. But I can tell you that what I'm trying to share with you through these calls is all the great things that we have coming in the future, and we're working on them now. New branding, new packaging, new building, all kinds of new stuff. And as I said, I'm very excited to be here and be part of this team.
well,
You're doing a great job.
yeah.
It's great to have you on the team. That's for sure.
Yeah, I just think you've got some absolutely amazing ideas, and when it comes to marketing, it's face it, it is all marketing. That's that's the business we are in, it sounds like in just a very short period of time, you've taken RMS Medical to a new level, and of course, once everything is released at the trade show next month. It's just going to be lights out for you guys. So congratulations, to say the least, Eric.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you guys having me on the show. It's I never run out of things to talk about when it comes to RMS. We just have so much going on that I'd be happy to come back at any time and share more as we progress along.
That sounds great. Well, hey, don't be a stranger. And Mike King in Las Vegas, Charles Moscowitz in Boston, and don't forget that Princeton Research Newsletter comes out every Sunday. You can read about RMS Medical, too. And I'll bet Tim Connolly even throws in a few things on the oil industry as well. So you have been listening to Money Info, brought to you by Princeton Research, with that Princeton newsletter every Sunday. Subscribe to that thing. Boy, this is valuable. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, WPSL.com, worldwide on the web, and WPSL TV on YouTube.